Welcome back, future medicos. Today, Mr. Karthikeyan will be covering the topic calcium homeostasis from class 11 biology, chapter 22. But before handing over to Karthikeyan, I want to bring to your attention something important that is happening on 5th November 2021 from 3 p.m. Now, there are some interesting sessions brought to you by Unacademy in English. Now, the topics are really interesting. That's why I wanted to bring it to you. If you look at the topics, say for example at 3 p.m., the topic is how to score 350 plus in biology in NEET 2021. At 4 p.m., tips and tricks to score marks in physics. At 5 p.m., strategy to prepare physical chemistry for NEET 2021. At 6 p.m., strategy for scoring 340 plus out of 360 in biology. At 7 p.m., shortcut methods to solve problems in mechanics. And at 8 p.m., conceptual MCQs in biology. So the topics are all interesting, and these are all free sessions for you. So probably listening to this might help you. That's why I wanted to share this. So what I will do is I will provide a link to these free sessions in the description below. So don't forget to check out. Now I will hand it over to Karthikeyan to cover today's session. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So in this video, we are going to talk about calcium homeostasis. A very simple topic, but very important topic. You can expect a question from this. So talking on what is this homeostasis. So if you are in 12th grade, you would have studied about homeostasis in your organism and population chapter. So to all those 11th grade students, what is this homeostasis? Is maintenance of, this is the definition that you need to take down, maintenance of constant internal environment, maintenance of constant internal environment despite the changes in the external environment. Okay, I'll just put dicto. What the statement is trying to convey. See, you try to live in a hilly area. Okay. Now you all know the optimum temperature under which our body is going to function properly is around 37 degrees Celsius. Okay. If you go to hilly areas, you try to wear 2 or 3 sweaters. Okay. You try to wear some thick clothes and all that. And if you are in summer, okay, suppose in Chennai, if you are in a hot summer, you try to sit in an AC room, or you try to, no, gents usually they do not wear even t-shirts. Is why? Because there is some change in the external environment. During summer, the outside temperature goes somewhere even above 40 also, right, at times. And during winter season, or if you go to hilly areas, it comes down to even 1 degree or 2 degrees Celsius. So whatever be the change, we try to get adapted, or we try to modify our lifestyle according to the external environment, so that we try to maintain that constant internal environment. Okay, that is with respect to temperature. I can say the constant environment that has to be provided to our body is somewhere around 37 degrees Celsius. So whatever be the temperature in the atmosphere, we try to give this ambient temperature to our body. So that is called as homeostasis. So with respect to temperature, I define. So here we have got a terminology called calcium homeostasis, which means the same definition. So maintenance of a constant internal calcium levels despite changes in the external level. So what I am trying to say here is, suppose when you give, so see, usually as per medical terminologies, the normal calcium levels can be somewhere between 9 to 11 milligrams per deciliter. Okay, so this is the normal value of calcium level. Okay, so it varies. So 8.5 to 12.5 we say, some journals say 9 to 11. So somewhere between 8.5 to 12.5 or 13 I can say is the normal calcium levels. See, when you try to give either excess of calcium, so you take 10 glasses of milk, or you do not know you are a vegan, so you do not give calcium drinks at all. So whatever you bring about a change through the external environment, how our body tries to maintain this constant level of calcium is the question. Okay, so that is what we are going to see now. So you need to know, so the first question, so now I'll be discussing about calcium homeostasis, and then we'll be discussing on glucose homeostasis. So questions from these topics mostly it comes this way. They will ask you which of the following is an hypercalcemic hormone, or which of the following is an hypocalcemic hormone. Okay, so this is the first basic thing that you must know. So which is an hypercalcemic, which is an hypocalcemic. So what is the meaning of hypercalcemic and hypocalcemic? The hormone that is going to increase the calcium levels, that is called as hypercalcemic hormone. So the hypercalcemic hormone is parathormone, or what I call it as PTH. Okay, and hypocalcemic is your calcitonin. So any hormone you study, the first thing that you must also know along with the name of the hormone is the source. So source of parathormone, it's very evident, it is from the parathyroid gland. So no, in thyroid gland itself, I just mentioned about parathyroid gland. So on the dorsal aspect or on the posterior aspect of the thyroid gland, we have got a pair of parathyroid gland on each of these side. Okay, so say suppose this is my thyroid gland. So from the front aspect, it looks like lung, I know, but just imagine this to be a thyroid gland. On the dorsal aspect, which means on the posterior side, I have got, let me represent dotted part, so which means it is on the posterior side. Okay, so on the posterior aspect on either sides, I have got a pair of gland called as parathyroid gland that mainly secretes parathormone. With respect to calcitonin, it is from the C cells, or what is called as your parafollicular cells from your thyroid gland. So in thyroid gland structure, I just showed you something called as follicles, right? And I just told you adjacent to this, or somewhere in the middle between two follicles, have got some cells called as C cells. So these are the follicles and in which you are got. So these are the follicles. So where you have got your thyroid hormones, that is T3, T4. In between them, we have got something. So this is called as your C cells or your parafollicular cells that is going to secrete calcitonin, that is hypocalcemic hormone. So which means what is the stimulus? Now we have seen its action, right? It is an hypercalcemic, it's an hypocalcemic, it's the action of the hormone. What is the stimulus? Meaning when this hormone will come into play. Calcitonin will come into play when there is increased blood calcium level. So you consume 10 glasses of milk. So you are ultimately trying to increase the load of calcium. So at that point of time, we are going to have calcitonin that comes and it is going to decrease the blood calcium level. So that is why it is called as an hypocalcemic hormone. So usually, we get confused between what is the stimulus and what is the action. So please remember these two terms. I have seen few students who get confused between action and the stimulus. See, what triggers is called as the stimulus. What is the net result of that trigger is your action. Okay, for example, if you take, if suppose, in IPL match, let us take CSK match. So what does Dhoni do? Depending on the score and the number of wickets that have fallen, a number of overs that are left, accordingly he sends player. Okay, so if the wickets fall earlier, he sends down order people like Jadeja or Bravo. And then he jumps in the mid of the overs, right? So that is the thing. So stimulus is in cricket is the number of wickets. Here is with respect to the blood calcium level. So stimulus, when there is increased blood calcium level, calcitonin comes. As a result, what happens? There is decreased blood calcium level. Okay, so you just have to know what is the action. So what is the hypercalcemic, what is an hypocalcemic hormone, and you just also have to add on to the stimulus. I hope you understood. Now, Let us see how this homeostasis is maintained. So it's a very simple thing. You just have to know three structures with respect to calcium homeostasis. One is the bone, another one is your small intestine, another one is your kidney. So you all know bone is a very good source of calcium. Now first let us talk about the actions of PTH. Okay, let us talk about the actions of PTH. That is your parathormone, which I called it as an hypercalcemic hormone. Now, just try to understand the concept. In my blood, okay, so let me just draw the blood artery here. This is my artery. I have got decreased blood calcium levels, right? I have got decreased blood calcium here. So what I need to do is somewhere from the body, I need to take all the calcium and I need to put it here. Okay, just forget this blood calcium here. I need to dump it here. So I'm going to depend on three sources. One is the bone, another one is small intestine, another one is kidney. So I'm going to seek the help of these three people. So from bone, what I can do? Bone, we all know it is a very good reservoir of calcium. So I just ask the bone, hey bone, please give me some amount of calcium. So I'm going to get inside the bone, take some calcium. That process is called as demineralization or resorption. Okay, demineralization or resorption, meaning I try to take out some amounts of calcium from the bone. Okay, and that process is called as demineralization or resorption. Next, from intestine. So I start taking in so much amount of calcium. So all that calcium has to be absorbed from the intestine and it has to get into my bloodstream. So from the intestine, I'm just asking the intestine to increase the absorption level. Hey intestine, please try to increase your absorption level so that it will benefit me. With respect to kidney, so kidney will try to eliminate all the calcium or whatever gets into the nephron. Almost everything is going to be excreted after reabsorption, right? So you all know 99% of filtrate is reabsorbed, only about 1% is going to be excreted, and that 1% also might pose some serious threat, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm trying to promote reabsorption of calcium from the filtrate. Okay, so reabsorption of calcium is increased. So with respect to parathormone, we all know it's an hypercalcemic hormone, so it is trying to increase the blood calcium levels. So it acts on three main structures. One is the bone, another one is the small intestine, another one is the kidney. So in bone causes demineralization or resorption. In small intestine, it increases the absorption, and from kidney, it is going to increase the reabsorption of calcium. So they can ask you which of the following statement is true with respect to action of parathormone, which of the following is false with respect to parathormone. So they can give you statements. Every question might contain this hypercalcemic and this hypocalcemic word. So please be very thorough with these terminologies, which is an hypercalcemic, which is an hypocalcemic and all that. And with respect to action, you must be thorough with these three things. Okay, so what it does on bone, what it does on intestine, and what it does on kidney. Now, talking on next hormone. So we just now spoke about the hypercalcemic hormone, that is parathormone. Now we will talk about calcitonin. What is this calcitonin? The source of calcitonin is from C cells or the parafollicular cells, and it is an hypocalcemic hormone. So it is going to decrease the blood glucose levels, right? It is going to decrease the blood glucose level. So how it is going to decrease the blood glucose level? On bones. So in blood, calcium is going to be more. Okay, so in my blood vessels, I've got more amounts of calcium. So I will try to send all these. Okay, so I'm trying to do. So let us see what happens. So I'm trying to send this excess amount of calcium to the bone. So what it is going to happen? We are going to have bone deposition, which means I am trying to mineralize the bone here, right? There we saw resorption, that is demineralization. Here I am trying to do deposition, or what I call as bone mineralization. Okay, bone mineralization. Next, with respect to kidney, there we saw reabsorption of calcium. Here I will promote excretion of calcium. And with respect to intestine, there we saw increase in absorption. Here we are trying to decrease the absorption. So V in the sense, here I am referring to action of calcitonin. So altogether, it is going to decrease the blood glucose level. So I call it as an hypocalcemic hormone. I call it as an hypocalcemic hormone. Right? So this is what you need to know with respect to calcium homeostasis. Okay, so what are the actions of parathormone? What are the actions of calcitonin? And as usual, you just have to know what happens with each of these structures. Okay, so it's a very simple topic. I have just also mentioned what are the questions that you must know. So know what is hypercalcemic, what is hypocalcemic, and their actions. Thank you. See you in the next video.